welcome to the channel, and today's video suitably is here outside a cinema, and this particular video is about the importance of not being dragged into other people's dramas. And for this particular video I use the example of a cinema. So there's three aspects in this video. There's the cinema screen, there's the audience who are in the cinema, and then finally there's the member of staff, the usher or usherette as they were once known. And they're the three main positions within. So if you think of this as a triangle, so the triangle being the screen, and then the bottom, so the top of the triangle being the screen, the bottom left hand corner being the audience, and then the right bottom corner being the members of staff. Okay, and to look at this, think about a movie. So if you go to the cinema and you watch a film, the film will always be the same. So let's say you're going to go and see Mission Impossible, for example, and the only thing that's really different, or the only thing that changes in that film, is the showings, so the time showings of the film, and the audience who are going to be sitting in the cinema watching the film. But the film always stays the same. The film never changes. Okay, so when you watch the film, when you come out, so as an audience, you pay your money, you go and watch the film, and then you come out and you might discuss that film for maybe half an hour with your friends or whoever you went to see the film with. For the 2 hours or so that you're in the cinema watching the film, you're actually invested in the film. But then as sort of time goes by and you leave the cinema, your interest in the film lowers quite a bit. The other aspect of the film is the actual film itself, and this is where people, if you're not careful, will drain your energy. So every good film needs a good director, and people love to direct their own films, i.e. in this case direct their own lives. But in order to have drama and in order to have something in their life, they need actors and actresses to star in their film. And this is where you have to be careful that you don't get drawn into people's movies. So when I have people come to me and they say that they're exhausted and they've been caught up in other people's dramas and so forth, this is a great example where people pull you into their movie and they end up controlling you within their movie. So they're directing you, you're the actor or the actress starring in their movie, and often you render yourself kind of powerless in that scenario. So we have to be aware, are we being pulled into other people's dramas? Are we being pulled into other people's movies? And are they manipulating and controlling us within their own movie? So that's another position, which is the actual movie screen. The film doesn't change, it just keeps rolling. But ideally we want to be directing our own movies and be mindful to who we bring in to star in our movies. I mean, we don't want to start then controlling other people around us. So we have to be mindful that when we're directing our own movie, what kind of effect are we having on other people? The next position is as I said, is the member of staff. So as we look at the triangle, that's the bottom right hand corner. So if ever you go to the cinema and you watch a film and you're watching the film from the audience perspective, sometimes out the corner of your eye you might see a member of staff just literally walk in to the actual film screen area, and all they're doing is literally just casting an eye just to make sure that the film is running properly, I guess, make sure that the audience is behaving themselves, not on telephones, not throwing popcorn, etc, etc, etc. But they don't stay in the theatre for more than maybe 5 minutes, if that. They literally just have a look around, make sure everything's all okay, and they leave. This is significant of the detached observer. So the detached observer is somebody who's aware of what's going on, but they're not emotionally attached or emotionally involved to the outcome. Okay, so this is a great place to make decisions from. So if you get pulled into other people's movies, you certainly don't want to get pulled in as a main actor or actress into someone else's movie. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to play the cameo role. So by playing the cameo role, if you think about that, that's like a movie starring all its main cast, but then a guest appearance by whoever it might be, and that guest appearance within a 2-hour movie might only be for 5 minutes. Okay, so they go in, do their thing, and they get out. They do not stay within that movie. They're not invested in that movie at all. And this is very significant, as I say, as the member of staff who will come into the theatre, have a look around, make sure everything's okay, and then leave. Okay, I find that is a great place to make decisions from. Do not make a decision perspective, certainly from within someone else's movie, if you're pulled into it, because you are coming from that perspective, from a much more weaker point of view. You can make decisions from the audience perspective, which is fine, but ideally, as I say, if you go to that detached observer perspective and then make your choices, make your decisions, and then act upon that particular space. Okay, so if we break this down into percentages, ideally we don't really want to be within the screen time more than sort of 5% of the time. Ideally maybe 5-10%. Within the audience perspective, we want to be within that maybe for about I'd say 50% of the time, and then the detached observer would be sort of 40-45%. Okay, but just be mindful, are you being pulled into other people's movies? And if you are being pulled into other people's movies, this might be a great example of why you're feeling tired, why you're feeling exhausted, okay, why you're feeling powerless as well. That's another thing to look at. And as I say, just be mindful. Where are you within that cinema setting? Are you in the screen, in somebody else's movie? Are you an audience member watching the movie, invested in it for the time it's running, but then you leave? Or are you the member of staff who's the detached observer? Okay, and by alternating between those 3 positions of the triangle, the top, the bottom left, and the bottom right, but as I say, percentage wise, being aware of that, how much time am I spending within each location of that triangle? Just try shifting that if you are finding yourself being pulled into other people's movies for the majority of the time. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. If you think this is helpful for anybody, by all means please share it with whoever you might think it is. And as I say, remember, all these videos are based on experiences that I see people within the clinic environment, and as I say, just sharing some of these examples with you, and hopefully they help you. Okay, have a great day.